Shalom. I want to start off by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstones who rule well, and peace and salutations to the hopeful elect who are continuing to fight and teach this thing of ours in truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Manatazak with GMS Ancient of Days in Los Angeles, currently teaching with the small sanctuary in Inglewood. And today, through the Spirit, I want to do a lesson which is basically giving my spiritual 2 cents on the recent information that came out of the WEF. Okay? Now, in this particular lesson, I'm going to be using a lot of acronyms, okay? For one, to protect against the YouTube algorithms that might strike this video, but for two, just to, keep you up on the terms that brothers have been going in, because lessons have been coming out, brothers have been doing response videos to this, okay? So the information is already out there. I'm just going to bring out, my spiritual 2 cents through the Spirit dealing with this particular topic. Now, the WEF is the World Economic Forum, okay? And basically what they said and what they actually printed out was something that the apostles and elders of Great Millstone have been bringing out for several years now. No, scratch that, several decades now, okay? That the coming currency, the new currency, is going to eventually evolve into a digital system, but not just a digital system, one that is implemented or implanted under the skin, okay? Now, by me saying that alone, you should already know what scriptures come to mind. And the same scriptures that the apostles and elders have been bringing out, and through the Spirit, Lord willing, we'll bring it out in this lesson as well. But the World Economic Forum basically came out and said that the new digital system that they're trying to implement, the CBDC, which stands for the Central Banking Digital Currency, right? That they want to implant it under the skin, okay? And we all know what that means, okay? Now, we've been saying it, we've been preaching it, but now we're starting to see these prophecies play out right before our very eyes, okay? And it should be no wonder for those of you with the eyes to see and the ears to hear, because it was already written and foretold in the prophecy, okay? In Great Millstone, we have not compromised, we have not deviated, we have stuck to the script, so to speak, stuck to the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, and now it's playing out in our reality, okay, for all eyes to see, okay? Something that the apostles and elders have been preaching for decades, okay? So now, it's up to you other groups to substantiate your false claims on what the MotB really is, okay? And for those of you that don't know, okay, you should know what the MotB is, okay? The CHIP. Now, I agree, it's ridiculous that we have to use these acronyms and these code words, okay, when we're supposed to be living in a country with freedom of speech, okay? But as the lesson goes on, those of you that are new here, Lord willing, you'll catch on, and the Spirit will reveal to you what we're really talking about. And what we're talking about is prophecy, all right? Now, this is important because while the World Economic Forum is talking about this new system of currency, the BRICS nations, and that as well as the acronym BRICS, okay, and that's an acronym for the powerhouse countries of Russia, China, Brazil, India, and South Africa, okay, wanted to establish their own form of monetary value, so to speak, okay. Now the difference between the standard, okay, or the current global powerhouse in terms of trading is the U.S. dollar, okay, or the FRN, the Federal Reserve Note, which when you do your research used to be backed by something substantial, something tangible, okay. It wasn't just money that was printed that had no value. It was actually backed by gold. But we know they took the gold standard away from the dollar, okay, and it is devaluing by the second, even as we speak. Now, what the BRICS nations are trying to establish is a new form of currency that is actually backed by gold, something tangible and substantial, okay, something with intrinsic value, okay. So What that means is if this were to be established, it would further destabilize the power of the dollar. And we know that all wars are banker wars, right? Or at least that's the saying in the world. So we know that this financial struggle, this financial power struggle, could potentially lead to World War III, which is already prophesied in the scriptures to take place. And when you go through the history, money is always involved in these wars, okay? And whether or not you believe it or not, World War III is going to happen in our lifetime. And we are on the precipice of seeing that as well play out before our very eyes, all right? Now, what's also interesting is this is during the same time that Turkey has publicly voiced their support of Sweden joining NATO, okay, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization military alliance. And this is big because this goes against what Putin, who is the president of Russia, okay, has been speaking about. All right? And this is on the precipice also of Ukraine wanting to put their hat in the bid to join NATO. All right, which would be in direct opposition to Russia, because Russia is neighboring Ukraine. And for the longest time, Russia has been trying to reestablish their dominance over Ukraine, and they are currently still at war. So it's a lot of things going on, prophetically speaking. Okay, we're just waiting for those major chips to fall, so to speak. Okay, now I don't want to be long-winded and drawn out, and yes, we are going to get the scriptures, but that's just sort of this introduction is to set the precedent or the context of this lesson and the major moves taking place outside of the public eye, because it's up to the watchmen to report these types of things. Okay, we're not reporting on the new McDonald's Slurpee or the Grimace challenge or all these TikTok challenges of jumping off of speedboats and all this bullshit and folly. Okay, we're reporting on real news, real events, and we're filtering it through the scriptures. Okay, because we're coming into some very turbulent and dangerous times. Now, without further ado, I want to begin the book of Daniel, chapter 2. Okay, and I want to talk about the statue, okay, that Daniel saw in his vision. Okay, we all know the statue, right? The head of gold, the upper body of silver, the lower body of bronze, and the legs of iron, and the feet of iron and miry clay. Now, okay, we know through the scriptures, through prophecy, that we are currently living in the times of the iron and miry clay. Okay, and what's interesting about this is during this time, okay, when you match the dates, okay, this is going into the revived Roman Empire, okay, which is from 1776 AD to the second coming, okay. So the second coming is when Yahushua returns, okay, or as Daniel prophesied, you know, that stone that wasn't carved by hand that's going to come and smash the feet and break the whole statue. All right. Now I have some dates that are interesting. Okay. Now when you go to 1776 AD, that was when America was formed out of the 13 colonies. Okay. Fast forward to 1914 AD. Okay, that was World War I, right? And that's when Babylon's power was officially established, so to speak. All right, you got 1945, the European Economic Community, or the UN, was established. You got 1949, okay, where NATO was established, and you got 1957, where the United Nations was founded. Okay, and this was after World War II. So you notice that in this span of time, 2 wars already took place. And we know before the second coming of Yahushua, that third World War is going to take place. Okay, so with those facts and those dates, which you can fact check yourself, okay, with all that being said, you know that we are in a time of war. We're in a time of Jacob's trouble. We're in a time of a new form of currency and trading being implemented. Okay, there's a lot of things going on through the Spirit. I want to get Daniel chapter 2, verse 42. I'll begin at verse 41. Okay, and this is going to the dream that Daniel had. It says, actually I'll begin, I'll begin at verse 41. Daniel chapter 2, verse 41, it says, "And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part iron," okay, and that's interesting that it uses these two properties, because iron and clay don't mix, just like water and oil don't mix. So all these nations joining together and forming alliances, it's all to naught. Okay, it's all going to come apart. All right, and we're starting to see that power struggle now with the BRICS nations versus NATO. Okay, and even NATO's own allies, they aren't seeing eye to eye. You have defectors. Okay, there's a lot going on behind the scenes. All right, it says, "The kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay." Okay, and as the toes of the feet were part iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. Okay, and that's interesting, because these nations aren't seeing eye to eye. This is all a power struggle. Okay, but what they don't understand is that Yahweh Shai, okay, is in control of all these things. You have all these countries thinking they're going to be the next big bad to step up to the plate, not realizing that Yahweh Shai is going to be the next one to rule, the next one to take these kingdoms down. Okay, the kingdom of Israel is going to be the one to rule next, not Russia, not China. America is not going to continue to stay on top and strong arm everyone as the hammer of the earth. Okay, it's all written in the prophecies. Okay, and this should be exciting for those of us that understand these prophecies. Okay, continuing on, it says, "And in the days of these kings shall the Most High of heaven set up a kingdom, which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever." And this is the kingdom that I just mentioned, the kingdom of Yasharallah, the kingdom of Israel, okay, ruled and led by Yahweh Shai, okay, through the spirit and power of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, okay. Verse 45, "For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great power hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure." Okay? And as the scriptures say, "Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." Why? Well, quoting Daniel chapter 2, verse 45, okay? "This shall surely come to pass." All right? The dream is certain, the vision is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. The interpretation thereof is sure, because these are the words of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. And whatever is written shall come to pass. And there is no wasted word in the scripture. Okay? Now I want to get Habakkuk chapter 2, beginning at verse 4. Habakkuk chapter 2, beginning at verse 4, it says, "Behold, okay, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him." And that's speaking about the Edomites, the so-called white man. Why? Because they were predestined to play the role of the wicked. Okay? It says, "But the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also, because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people." Okay? Now, if this is a synonym or an epitome of the American system, okay, that's ruled by the so-called white people, I don't know what else to tell you. Okay, because it doesn't take a biblical scholar or a prophet to understand who this is talking about. All right, just look at the track record of America and the people that rule this nation. Okay, and the next verse is going to further solidify that point. All right, verse 6. It says, "Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay," heavy debt. That thick clay is going into heavy debt. And there is no other country in the world that is in more substantial and increasing debt than Babylon the Great. Okay? And we know that if this thing continues to go, there's going to be a financial collapse, a financial crash. Okay, which should have technically already happened, but things happen during the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And what Esau Edom is doing is basically kicking that proverbial can down the road and prolonging the inevitable outcome. Okay, of all out hell and chaos breaking loose, which, according to the scriptures, is destined to happen. Or a better word is prophesied to happen. Okay, these things will happen. And we're living in those times now. And we're starting to see the moves play out right before our very eyes. Okay? Now I want to get Revelation 13, and we'll close it out here. But this is just to show that the things that are happening have already been written. And we have the understanding of that. This is Revelation 13, beginning at verse 16. It says, "And he calls us all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead." Okay, that mark is going into a charagma. Okay, which by definition in the Greek is something that is imprinted or something that is carved in the flesh. Okay, and going back to the information that you've seen that I'll put in post-production. Okay, the WEF has confirmed that the new CBDC that they're working on is meant to be implemented under the skin. Okay? It says in verse 17, "And that no man might buy or sell save he that have the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. For it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Okay? So we know through the Spirit that number of a man, that's speaking about George Joseph Lawyer, who is the creator of the Universal Product Code, which is basically on every item that's transactionable, okay, and whether it be in stores or online, anything that red laser scans, okay, it's scanning a Universal Product Code. And no matter what item you buy, whether it be food, clothing, books, entertainment systems, whatever it is, the first, middle, and last number is always going to be 6. So 666, okay? And what they want to do is they want to put that in the new CBDC, okay? So you're not going to be able to buy and sell without having that transaction that's under your flesh or that's implemented in your flesh. So whether you're buying food or water or whatever have you, okay, you're going to need that CBDC, all right? And we've been telling you, anything that's implemented under the skin, do not take, okay? Do not take, because if you take that, there's no turning back. Now, I don't know how many different ways we could warn you, how many different ways we could break the scriptures down, because it's all been said. Thousands of videos are out already, okay? Especially those beginning with the men of the apostles and others, the great millstone, okay? But we know, pursuing the prophecy, okay, that the majority of our people are just not going to get it. But for those of you that have that understanding, take notice and take heed that we are in the times now where you're going to have to make a conscious decision whether you want to be joined to this system or whether you want to trust in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Okay? And this prophecy right here is going to make and break a lot of us who call ourselves Hebrew Israelites, who call ourselves in the truth. Okay? And I myself am not exempt from that same judgment, which is why, okay, we do this in truth and sincerity in hopes of having the integrity and the faith to persevere through what we're all about to experience. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect. I want to give all glory and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and salutations to the hopeful elect who are continuing to fight and teach the thing of ours in truth and sincerity. Till next lesson, this has been your brother Manatazak. Shalom.